Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining in today's live stream. I can't believe this is my sixth day streaming, so that means I've streamed 3 times the amount I streamed in 2024. I think I only streamed 2 days in 2024, but as I've said before, the plan is to be a lot more consistent and make sure I get to stream on 4 days per week at least. Sometimes if I can do more, I'll try to do more, but for sure we are going to be doing alternating between English and Spanish. And so today we're going to be playing with Zero Edge. This isn't anyone's list in particular. This is my take, which I mean all the current successful Zero Edge lists are pretty standardized. So there's nothing groundbreaking on this one. Malupe, thanks so much for the follow. There's definitely not a lot of innovation to be made. I did base my build a lot on Ross Cawthon's deck. Overall, the one that he did really well with at Milwaukee a few months ago. And so we have Zero Edge with the Abyssal Flames attack, does 30 plus 20 more damage for each basic or for each energy in your discard pile. That's why we have so many energy in the deck. There's actually 20 of them. So hoping to get some really high numbers. And of course, the more energy you have, the more easily you're able to discard them. And therefore, the easier you are able to get to those big numbers. And so Zero Edge is our only attacker, basically. I did contemplate adding the smaller Zero Edge that does 220 for single energy, and you have to discard 4 energy from your hand as a powerful non-EX single price attacker. However, you almost always have a Fez or a Squawk on your bench. It's really legacy energy that's going to help us really play into the single price situation, because legacy energy makes it so that the Pokemon it's attached to, if it gets knocked out by damage, then your opponent takes 1 less price card, right? So we can still have single price boards even with a 2-price Pokemon if we manage our legacy energy correctly. So that's going to be very important. We have the Lunatone Solrock engine. Of course, Lunatone synergizes perfectly with Zero Edge. We have to discard extra fighting energy, and then Solrock is a nice single price attacker. It's not as common to attack with this, with Solrock, against many things with this deck as opposed to something like Golden Go, because there's no easy way to retreat the Solrock into the active. There's no Herballoons here. We do have 3 Jet energies, but of course that's the energy attachment for turn, so we cannot use that to bring the Solrock active. So if we start it, great. If not, it's mainly there to combo with the Lunatone. It can help in some like mid game situations, but overall we're not going to be attacking with Solrock too much. And then we have the copy of Iron Bundle, which can sometimes be as good as a boss's orders, especially early in the game, where you're trying to discard energies, but you also get that nice little boost attacking something that's not in the active, something that is getting powered up on the bench and is more valuable. And then we really rely on Squawkabilly and Carmine to really get us going, have an explosive turn 1, along with a couple of energy search cards with the Earthen Vessel and the Fighting Gong as well. And I mean, we have plenty of energy, so we don't need too much energy search overall, but we do want to have access to some search, especially because we're only playing 5 fires. Sometimes finding them is important, and sometimes you actually don't draw enough energy, and so having extra search for them is very good. Now, we do have access to Briars, and Zero Edge is a Terra Pokemon, so it's also a nice way to offset any weird price raise that our opponent might be trying to force us into. And we have Turo to sometimes pick up that Squawkabilly, which is a big liability on the bench. So that could be very important to maneuver. And finally, the last thing to know is like the spread of the 2 targets. I don't think it's ever mattered to me. Overall, having 80 HP gives you a little bit more protection against like a late game Dragapult attack combined with a Halucha, but overall it's so minor that if you like, in my real life deck, I couldn't find the 80 HP target. I just chalked the fourth targeted with 70 HP in there. So yeah, let's jump into some games, see how we do. All right, so here we go. Zero Edge climbing a little bit on the ladder. Hopefully we don't drop down too much. Zero Edge, of course, is a powerful deck, but it's not a top tier deck, I would say. So yeah, All right. So let's jump into this. Thanks so much to everyone who is tuning in, both on YouTube and Twitch. And Smoke, hey, everything's good. Thanks so much for being here, Smoke. Yeah, Zero Edge should be a fun time for sure. I do like the deck. I do enjoy playing sometimes these more like straightforward decks. Losing to Zero Edge off the bat with a nice stretcher, not ideal, but it's part of this. Now, this deck doesn't mind going first. It actually enjoys going first, so that's like a sort of an advantage. However, my opponent did choose to go first, so they start the Mew. We'll have to see what they are actually playing and see if that has any sort of effect moving forward in our decision making. But so far, there's a Squawk, there's a bug catching set, so okay. We see an Dragapult, we see a Grass, we like to see fire weak Pokemon and low HP EXs. That simplifies things for Zero Edge for sure overall. Especially because Dragapult will have a harder time to 1KO a Zero Edge. We see a Watchin, so with these revelations, if you will, we're probably up against a Mega Venusaur deck. So, I mean, I wouldn't say very fortunate that we got paired into one, but we can't assume that we are going to end up winning just based on weakness, right? Typical 1500 elo deck. Yeah, I mean, we're heading into the 1600, so you would hope to not see as much of these roguish decks, but I mean, it's part of it, right? We don't know. We might be testing something. They might be playing for fun. Yeah, they might have found the perfect build for Mega Venusaur that is about to wreck Toronto. You never know. Yeah. There's a Chikorita. We don't have any counter stadium, so my opponent will always have access to Forest of Vitality. And I mean, there is a universe where if they get enough energy into play and they have the Meganium, I could end up being in a situation where, because I probably have to bench the Squawkabilly next turn, they could go for a 2-2 price raise, or we would need to really rely on the legacy energy to make up for this. So okay, so this Ultra Ball, I'm definitely gonna have to go for Squawk, assuming it's in here, which it is. There's another Zero Edge available. That's great. The Drillbur is in there. Okay, so apparently I didn't make the last change. I didn't have Drillbur in the list I showed, so that's a mistake. I took out the Drillbur for a research. Apparently I didn't update my deck on PTG Live, so just keep that in mind. And I priced Legacy Energy, so offsetting the price raise is going to be a lot more difficult because of that. Okay, I'm going to attach the Fire, and we're going to go ahead and Carmine first before Squawk, because I'm not guaranteed a supporter after. I did attach in case I find like other basics and I get to retreat. I think at this point I'm better off just establishing another Charcadet rather than the Lunatone Solrock engine. And then we get to Thin, more energy. I do want to leave a healthy amount of both. I do want to draw extra cards, but I feel like missing an attachment for turn 2 attack could be pretty detrimental. And I'm already going to lose a Fire here. I'm already going to lose another one here. I priced the Legacy. I lost a Night Stretcher, so I'd rather not whiff. Wow. Well, and see, this is exactly why you do not... Okay, generally, I think I'm going to retreat into the Squawk. This is exactly why you don't assume, right? I can hit for weakness. However, I can't... I can hit for weakness, but I can't count on just winning, right? I just squawked into a dead hand. Now, I didn't play the Fighting Gong in case I top deck Nest Ball, Ultra Ball, Soul Rock, or Lunatone, I just Fighting Gong for the other. If I commit to one, then I take away 2 outs, right? If I commit to Soul Rock, then if I top deck, like, I guess I take out 1 out, but if I commit to Soul Rock and I top deck Soul Rock, that's bad. So taking it a bit slower. The Genocide could actually make things very awkward, so I will have to attach energy to Squawk. I mean, I do have Turo eventually. Ideally, my Squawk tanks a hit, and this gives me one turn. You caught Briar, Kyle King. Yeah, Briar is definitely a very... Like, it's nice to have, and it's important for your opponent to like to keep your opponent honest, but it's very rarely used because we don't have any specific search for it, right? So yeah, I can totally see cutting that. Okay, so I do top deck the Ultra Ball. So now I have another choice to make. Do I go Turo, Ultra Ball, grab the... Oh no, I don't have a Fire Energy, so never mind. I actually cannot do that. Okay. I don't think I'll be missing the boss's orders too much. So I'm gonna Ultra Ball away that. And then let's go ahead and grab the Soul Rock, and we use Fighting Gong to grab the Lunatone. And we draw 3 extra cards. It's not perfect, but at least we get it going a little bit. Alright, Lunar Cycle. Okay, Night Stretcher could give me a Fire or a Ceruledge. I could attack with Squawk and just get the fires out of the discard, which I really like. Nest Ball could be important for... Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. I kind of want to make my opponent come... If I attach on her energy, the Dragapult doesn't. Okay, so here's the plan. Okay, we're going to go Turo the Squawk. And I can either just promote Chark at it. What does this do? Search your deck for a fire and attach it to this Pokemon. I don't think I want to do that. So I was thinking Squawk promote. I'll just do the Chark at it. That's fine. And I'll keep my hand as is. I think this is fine for now. Assuming my opponent takes a knockout next turn, we can Nest Ball for Fez. We have Night Stretcher for a potential fighting if we need to draw more cards. But we definitely want to start attacking very soon. And yeah, this is part of the reason why I added the second research over the Drillbur. Alright. Okay, so there goes Super Rod, putting back the Toad Scroll and the Wochian. Okay, we get IO Node. I'm happy with that. Fresh new hand that works for me. We find a Carmine, we find Palpat to recover probably the boss's orders, and maybe the other Carmine. Probably don't need Turo anymore. We do see a bug hatching set. My opponent actually took an energy away from the Ogre Pawn, so we're gonna just see a box cannon for 60. Which we have prior, so even if we only take a single prize, that's fine. One killing a Ceruledge, even with Meganium, shouldn't be too easy. So yeah, I think we're in a pretty good spot overall. Now that we got IO Node, even with the previous hand, as long as my opponent took a knockout, we were probably fine. And there's a knockout, okay? So pretty great. That means we get a Ceruledge going. I do want to Ultra for a Ceruledge as opposed to grabbing a backup Chark at it. Iron Bundle, not very useful here. I could also just draw with Lunatone and then decide, because if I draw the Ceruledge, I can Ultra for Chark at it. And there we go. Yeah, perfect example. Okay, so gonna bench that friend, gonna bench this friend. Going to for sure establish a backup. You know what? Maybe I keep the Iron Bundle just for funsies. Definitely want to get the Chark at it for sure. Hola Trey, muchas gracias por pasarte. And then we definitely want to pulp at the boss, right? I think let's do Boss and Carmine, just for a little bit of extra draw power, yeah? The Iron Bundle is tempting. I mean, knocking out... Like, if I'm ever forced to knock out Genesect, the Iron Bundle could actually come into play. I probably don't need the extra bench space for anything else. I was going to say, the difficult card to find here was going to be possibly the Fire Energy. However, we were able to just find it. So how many Fighting Energy are left? 8. 3 left. I don't remember if I priced any. I'm just going to draw. I'm going to... Keeping ways to find Fighting Energy or raw energy of your deck means draw for Lunatone, right? So it's important to not always like just go thin every card. There might be a spot where you do want to do it, but it's important not to do it all the time because sometimes like keeping Fighting Energy in the deck means your Lunatone is live after an Iono. So that's a very like something small. Let's take prizes 1 and 2. Something small, but it could be important. And there's the Legacy Energy, which is pretty great to find for sure. Now we're in a very good spot, right? We have Boss to chase down another 2 prizer in case my opponent attacks with single prizer, which doesn't seem like they're going to do. And then we have Iron Bundle. We still have the Briar available in the deck, I believe, to potentially win the game next turn in case my opponent has Genesect or the Meganium or whatever. So I'm feeling pretty good now. Feeling pretty good. We're getting bots in Twitch, so I'll take that as a good thing. There we go. All right. And Becerrito, thanks so much for the follow. Appreciate it. We're so close to 7,000 followers, so hopefully we can get there before the end of the year. And yeah, this is another situation where like Briar can win me the game, but I probably win it regardless, right? So Briar is like a win more card. I still like having some ooh, okay. The Toadscrew. I thought about playing the Night Stretcher. Oof, okay. So the Toadscrew means my Night Stretcher no longer works. And that's really bad, because now I need to find Soup Rod, which I haven't discarded, right? Oh, that Toadscrew is very bad news. Yeah, I still have the Soup Rod available. I have 13 cards left in the deck, so we are far from guaranteed. And I thought about the Night Stretcher, and I was like, no, I can just keep it. I swear I thought about it. Okay. So this is not great. Oh my gosh, the Soup Rod is priced. So that's game. The Soup Rod is priced, so I just lost the game. Because I didn't Night Stretcher the turn before. Okay, so backup plan 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 energy. How many energy does this deck play? Ugh, I swear I thought about the Night Stretcher. And I was like, nah, why? There's no need. Okay, well, I mean, let's try. Let's try. We need the Toadscroll to be stuck in the active for at least a couple turns, right? Like I need to knock it out. That's what I have to do. So this also comes down to having 2 Cerulege in my starting hand, right? And not price checking for a Soup Rod. If I price checked for a Soup Rod, I probably would have played the Night Stretcher. We see the energy switch, so unfortunate loss there. Unfortunate series of events. I thought about the Night Stretcher. I swear it crossed my mind, and then I disregarded it. Should have played it super safe. Just got it back. There was no reason not to, especially if I thought I was gonna get knocked out. So yeah, pretty big loss there. Pretty silly loss, I will say. Yeah, my opponent's deck drew pretty well. I took a little bit to get going because of my little bit awkward draws, and the 2 Cerulege discards combined with not playing the Night Stretcher ended up costing us that game. Yeah, so it is what it is. Should have played a lot. Should have played safe. Yeah, should have just played the Night Stretcher, got back the The Cyril Edge, I had already seen the Toad Scroll as well, but on to the next one. On to the next one. All right, do you want to go first? Yes, I do want to go first. All right, so decent hand for going first. I get the Soul Rock engine going. I also get to Thin. A few energies, I get to Carmine. So now top decking, nice stretcher, not ideal. All right, let's try and see 8, 9. So that means 2 fighting are prized. 1 Charger is prized, 1 Ceruledge is prized. Squawk isn't, that's good to know. I forgot to take out the Drillbur. I forgot to make the change. Okay, I guess we're gonna play with Drillbur. Okay, Super Rod is available. Okay. So now, this is always an interesting decision. Do you Lunar Cycle before you Carmine, potentially drawing cards you don't want to discard, such as Ceruledge's Super Rod Recovery, or do you not Lunar Cycle and hope you draw fighting afterwards? I think because I didn't price Legacy, and I still have 3 fires and the Legacy, I'm gonna grab 2 fires, and I'm just gonna let the odds decide which are in my favor for me to be able to exactly Lunar Cycle afterwards. Now that I got 2 more fires, the Pal Pad, the Night Stretcher. Okay, so this means I probably, like, if I go for Squawk, I'm not even guaranteed a Chark at it, right? So I am going to just go for the Chark at it immediately. Have that ready instead of going Squawk, destroying more of my deck potentially. I'm just gonna pass here. I could get once again punished by a body use, so maybe I should have played the Pal Pad. Like every time I say I could be punished by blah blah blah, I end up getting punished exactly by what I mentioned. Mandrick, saludos hasta España, muchas gracias por ver. ¿Por qué estoy jugando Zero Ledge? Pues para variar, ¿no? Realmente juego todos los decks, no estoy jugando. Hoy quería jugar Zero Ledge, quería jugar un deck más agresivo y directo. No ha ganado nada Zero Ledge últimamente, pero tampoco es un mal deck, entonces esa es la razón. Alright, so we're up against some sort of Noctowl deck, possibly Terrabox. If that Ditto transforms into the Wellspring Ogre Pawn and my opponent goes Sob, trap my Lunatone, I could be in a little bit of an issue. Yeah, I could be in a little bit of trouble. What I meant to say. If he goes into Body, it's not ideal. Lose a Pal Pad, lose a Night Stretcher. I mean, I'm gonna lose a Night Stretcher anyways, probably. No matter what. So at least we have Super Rod, but we actually see Raging Bolt, so that's great. That is great to see. We see the Raging Bolt right there. What's not nice to see is the Crispin right off the bat, which means my Lunatone is going to go down. Okay, I mean, that means I do have some use for the Night Stretcher, right? I recover the Lunatone engine, and I get to potentially draw. I'll probably Pal Pad back the Research. 6 energy in the discard pile means I'm doing 150 damage right now, okay? Alright, so we're gonna Night Stretcher for the Lunatone. So now I think is where I want to draw with Lunar Cycle first, because now there's way less cards. Like, the only card I would hate to see myself discard or draw is like Super Rod. Everything else is fair game. And by drawing more cards right now, I could draw energy, which I can then Carmine, right? Because I really need to reach for the knockout here. Okay, that's perfectly fine, right? I get a Chark at it go. I mean, I get the Zero Ledge guaranteed. I get another fire in the discard pile. I get to establish the Fez. I really want to go out and get the knockout here. And let's go ahead and get the Research back into the deck for like future. I have not tried. I mean, I could draw with Fez the same, but I also need like Ultra Balls and a Chark at it. So, oh, dang, that's rough. 8. I'm at 190. I need this Fez to be huge here. Oh, that's not enough. Am I 1 energy short? 10. Yep, I'm 1 energy short. Gosh. That's so unfortunate. Okay. Well. Oh wait. Oh wait. The Drillbur. I'm actually not short. The Drillbur, which is not available, never mind, is not here to save the day. Dang it. Stupid Drillbur, when I need you, you're not available. Alright, well, I wasn't getting the knockout anyway, so I'll keep this energy for Lunar Cycle. 1 energy away. Should be Fez first, like the Lunatone. I thought about it for the same reasoning, right? Maybe that was correct. In the end, I would have whiffed anyways, it seems. So yeah, maybe it was Fez first for the same reasoning as the Lunatone, to see if I can draw energy for guaranteed discard of the energy. So yeah, possibly. Possibly. Alright, so my opponent did have the Ultra Ball into the Terra, which I was hoping they would whiff. So what I can do now, my opponent takes this knockout. They're going to be at 3. I mean, they do need a lot, I guess. Not a lot, but like they need Sada for 2, plus a Teal Lens, plus attach. Which if they have another Noctowl, that's fine. They immediately played a Nest Ball, so that was probably the card of the Teal Lens, which is crazy to think about. And yeah, there we go. Did they really Teal Lens into the Nest Ball? I mean, they might not have, right? They might not have. But I think in a knockout, this game would have been, as long as I benched the Chargadet, this game would have been basically over. Now, though, I'm down to my last, like, I only have 1. I have Legacy Energy as a way to attack. I'm down both my Night Stretchers. So, this was basically cursed. This whole time. Okay, my opponent chooses to go after the Fez instead. So, yeah, this is pretty bad. So, off this board of my opponent, they will take 2 prizes, right? I think my opponent's most valuable Pokemon is the Ogerpon, right? That's the one way, because that turns off Area 0. That's like the one way they could possibly whiff. Okay. Ultra Ball. Let's Lunar Cycle first. Okay. I really think I should go after the Ogerpon here. Generally think that's what my plan should be. And let's go ahead and thin, trying to find that Legacy Energy at some point, or Super Rod, right? Is it ever attached to Solrock? Solrock KO with Raging Bolt could actually matter at some point. So let's just go after this. This is also the energy they kept. So doing 280 next turn is not going to be super easy for them. Their bench will be limited until they bench another Terra. They will need to Sada again, right? And have a Grass and have another energy to get a knockout. So you discard the Noctowl and the Rotom. Makes sense. They go into Latias. They do have a 5-card hand, so a pretty healthy one at that. But can they whiff? Can they whiff? They have the Ultra Ball. So what does that get them? They discard Crispin and Jamming Tower. They go for Fez. Okay, if they bench Fez, they can no longer Noctowl. And they can no longer KO me now. That's great. Well, I guess they can with Glass Trumpet, but like they need Sada, Glass Trumpet, Energy Switch. Oh, I guess, no, they need Sada, Glass Trumpet, Attachment for turn. No, Glass Trumpet doesn't work, never mind. They can't KO me anymore. They can't KO me, and I have Briar in my hand. So they're probably gonna retreat into a Hood this turn, which means I need to find boss or legacy energy. So like I need to find boss to still go 2/2/2. If I find legacy energy within the next 2 turns, I should be fine, right? Because of Briar. Even if I take this single price knockout. So all right, we have a chance. We have a chance. Iron Bundle just means the other Hood comes up. I mean, if I whiff, like I could purposely just go Jet into Soul Rock to take the KO. That also works. Gonna need the legacy energy no matter what. So, well, if they KO the Cerulege, right? So 11 energy, that's more than enough. I'm just gonna go ahead and bring up, like I'm gonna take the KO with Soul Rock because I couldn't get the KO. Yeah. I couldn't get the KO. A 2-pricer, right? I didn't find the boss, that's fine. I won't be needing Carmine. I might need Bundle. Get rid of the Drill Burr. Oh, actually, Drill Burr would have been an extra card to thin, so that was a mistake. Oh, yeah, that was a mistake actually. I should have benched the Drill Burr. All right, Cosmic Beam. This Lunatone draw has to be huge. I don't think there's anything that can help me here. Yeah, Fighting Energy. So the Lunatone draw has to be ridiculously good. Or they can whiff the knockout on the Cerulege. If they whiff knockout on the Cerulege, that's fine. Oh, actually, if they knock out Cerulege, then I can't Briar. And I probably lose the game. So I couldn't attack with Cerulege that turn either. Oof, okay. So can they go boss KO Cerulege? Actually, yeah, no. If they go boss KO Cerulege, then they need to whiff again, right? We'll see, we'll see. I'm a little confused, I guess. Thanks so much, ValdiTV, for subscribing. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much for subscribing. It really goes a long way. And thanks so much for the follow as well. And Harsha TV, or Harsha Yellow Alejo, thanks so much. Okay, my opponent did have the boss, so that's probably game. Yep, and it comes down to being 1 energy of KOing the bolts. That's what it came down to. I mean, now I KO and hope for the best, right? They can't Iono, so now they're very low on cards, they're very low on everything. They do need to discard 4. This time around, they discard the energy of the Teal Mask. So the only KO I have guaranteed is with Soul Rock. If I could somehow like boss KO, like countercatcher KO Hood plus Iono, maybe I'd have a chance. So it's not over yet, but it's probably over. Yep, I get the Fighting Energy as a punish. As a punish for my non-thinning. I can't even boss KO the Ogre Pawn to try and deny the Noctowl. So yeah, that's gonna be the game. I mean, I'll take the knockout, sure, but it's over for sure. I can't imagine my opponent whiffing with a 7-card hand, a Hood available, a Terra Pokemon in play, their draw for turn plus best draw. There's just no way. Yeah, they immediately promote the bolts, and that's gonna be another loss for Cerulege. Previous one could have been avoided by playing a Night Stretcher. This one, I don't think. Maybe the first draw before the Carmine. I don't remember what I drew exactly. Maybe if I found Ultra Ball, maybe that would have changed the order of my deck. But yeah, there's the Noctowl, so I'm not even gonna give the benefit of the doubt that my opponent will misplay. So another loss for Cerulege. And yeah, I mean, Cerulege, it's a very powerful deck. but it's also very linear and it needs a lot of things to go right for it. And we are seeing right now how one thing goes off, like the previous game, awkward discards, a little bit of a slower setup led to a loss, plus not playing Night Stretcher. Now we're seeing an arguably much better deck, right? Both decks are trying to 1KO each other, but Raging Bolt does it just so much more efficiently, right? As the game goes on, Raging Bolt gets weaker and Cerulege gets stronger, but that early game whiff, right? That one being one energy away ends up being super costly. I don't know if I could have maybe attached to the 70 HP Char Cadets and then retreated that energy off the Cerulege. Sometimes that's important. Starting Soul Rock here is pretty nice though. Cerulege will shine on April, possibly, Wildy. I wouldn't be surprised if it did. It doesn't lose pretty much anything, right? And it will be able to, like Gardevoir goes away, Charizard goes away. So like arguably better decks go away, and that's good for it. Yeah. Okay, so we have Gardevoir. Yeah, speaking of, we have Gardevoir. The Frillish start means my Soul Rock is just that much weaker. That much weaker. What am I doing? Yeah, Carmine. So I could just guarantee a lot of draw. Squawk, like benching Squawk in this match in particular is really bad because it has perfect HP for Screamtail. But I feel like I really want an explosive start, right? I want an explosive start which will allow me to just pressure my opponent as much as possible and allow me to wreck them as quickly as possible. Okay, and I'm glad I went for the Squawk because that was not great. I'm not gonna bench the Drillbur. That was a research. We would still be discarding it anyways. I do find a Char Cadet. Okay, I will need to kind of keep the Turo. I do need Lunatone for extra draw because now my hand is dead. So hopefully this Lunar Cycle gets me going a little bit. Okay, I have to assume I'm gonna be under item lock next turn, so I'm gonna play down that already. And I could go ahead and just grab myself the Cerulege now. I lose the Turo, I lose a Char Cadet too, and I did prize a Char Cadet. But it allows me to get like the potential for maximum pressure, so I'm gonna go for it, but this could be a mistake for sure. Yeah, like this might be the turn where we look back into I lost the game because of that choice. Hopefully that's not the case, but I could see that being the case right here. Little Frizz, thank you so much. Thank you so much for wishing me luck. Thank you. Yeah, rotation should be kind to Cerulege in terms of it doesn't lose much, right? So that's great. All right. So there we see the results. Hola Protissimo, hello. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, there's a Fez. So my opponent anticipating the knockout. They know the two cards in my hand, right? I mean, best case scenario, my opponent doesn't even item lock me. They Ultra Ball away the Super Rod though. I mean, that's good news overall, probably. And they grab Mew, so does that mean they have a pretty bad hand? Okay, they're gonna go restart for 2. So they're really anticipating, like they know they have a bad hand and they're really anticipating a knockout next turn. Nice Stretcher for the energy to draw. With the Mystery Garden? No, they're gonna go Oceanic Gloom, okay. They do have the energy for Mystery Garden, okay. So they draw 4. That's 2 recovery cards gone though, so that's pretty important. Another Vault, that's fair. And they do get the item lock off. So I need a raw fire energy off of this Lunar Cycle, which I don't think odds are in my favor to accomplish that. And yep, there we go. Okay, so I could get myself a price card here. Um, could get myself a price card. I also kind of don't want... Well, if I don't evolve, then Screamtail could wreck me. So is it worth it to go boss, KO or Ralts? Or just attack into the Frillish? I'm just gonna attack into a Frillish. Yeah. I didn't play a supporter last turn, so that much we know is not available for them. Or, I mean, they could be holding the Arven for Rare Candy Gardevoir. See what they top deck, that is a possibility. I feel like if you're gonna do that, then you're probably Arven for... Okay. Arven for the secret box, and they would have played it out, so we get the fire. That turn, though, that I didn't KO is pretty big, though. Atre, have I seen the new megas? No, please no spoilers for the DLC or Legends EA. I have not seen all the new megas. I've only seen what the trailers have shown. So pretty please, no spoilers. No spoilers about Legends EA DLC right here. Please, please, please. All right. So another Fire Energy top deck. We do get an attachment, which is nice. That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'm gonna go ahead and... I mean, do I want to draw with Lunar Cycle? Maybe not. Yeah, I kind of don't want to draw with Lunar Cycle. Okay, so at the very least, we will be able to have access to the other chart card, hopefully, if the item lock doesn't continue. But this will give my opponent Fez. They do have a fresh new hand. It could go Candy Gardevoir, Screamtail, KO Squawk, right? And that would be pretty bad. And one issue with this Zero Ledge deck is the fact that you have the Raging Amethyst attack, which you don't ever use yourself, but your opponent can copy with their Mew to 1KO you, right? So they do have that 1KO option available, and it would be really bad to see it right now. Like a counter catcher KO here would be really bad on Zero Ledge, because then I don't have a good way to recover off of that. But it does get Lily, does get Flip the Script. That's an 11 card hand, looking for a Candy Guardy. We just see the Kirlia, but we see the secret box. Okay, so hopefully they can't counter catcher KO my Zero Ledge. If they do, then discarding that chart card, yeah, like I mentioned, looking back, discarding that chart card could be the reason we end up losing this game. Okay, they grabbed Ultra Wall, so that means they have the candy. Probably. Yeah, they're gonna go ahead and play it. They have the thing, they have the Bravery Charm. There's the Guardy. Do they go after the Squawk? Or can they actually KO me? Okay, I do have Pulpad still available for a potential Briar, but this is really bad. This is really, really bad overall. All right. This is really, really bad overall. Do they have 4 Psychic? They do. Because they have the Diancie though, like we could go... Okay, they're gonna go into the Diancie now. So we could go 1, 2, 3 in terms of prizes, right? That... that Bravery Charm makes it real difficult, but if they're not gonna take a 2-prizer this turn, then that's fine. That's fine by me, right? The extra damage will stick, so they have 280 HP left, essentially 310, right? Which I'm not too far off. I'm at 290 right now. Yeah, 280 plus minus the ability to 30. We are not too far off from getting the knockout here. Okay, have I lost the other Soul Rock? No, I just top decked it. Great. Okay. So let's go Nest Ball for the Char Cadets. I have 3 energy left. Okay, I'm just, because I'm bad at math, it's 290, right? 260. Wait, is it taking into account the... the anti-ability already? It is, right? Because 13 times 2 is 260. Okay, so I need one more energy, and that's fine, right? And then I get the knockout. Pretty sure, right? Okay, fighting energy, that's great. I do want to leave. Actually, no, drawing the fighting energy is bad. I do want to leave myself with the possibility, or the, like, just have the Charcadet ready to go, right? Have the Charcadet ready to go. It can't evolve, but at least it's now powered up. I'm doing 280 damage now. I wish I could bench the Fez and use the Iron Bundle, so benching the Iron Bundle ends up being costly. I was anticipating a possible Jellicent issue, but right now, if I Iron Bundle, my opponent brings up purely our Screamtail, I go down to 4, and that's bad. I think just take the knockout right now, and Palpad, Boss, and Crier? I mean, I have a Research and a Carmine in there. And the other boss. So it's definitely boss. I mean, I don't see my opponent going down to 2 prizes at any point. But I feel like just making sure I can find Ceruledge might be my win condition. Eventually. So, is this enough? It is, right? Yes. I can do maths. Great. I can do maths properly. Alright. Now we're down to the prize cards. We do not have fighting energy in deck. We also do not have a we do not have Fez down, which is pretty bad. So putting Carmine back into the deck was pretty good. Overall, maybe even putting 2 back could have been important. So the biggest problem is if I did get the Charcadet off the prizes, but if I don't win next turn, and I can't bench another Charcadet, I'm in trouble. But my opponent decides to concede, so crazy to think we beat the top tier Gardevoir deck and we lost the match against Mega Venusaur, for example. But yeah, solid win, applying pressure. That's the name of the game against Gardevoir, right? Apply pressure, apply pressure, apply pressure as much as you can the whole time, basically. That has to be what you have to go for. All right, so on to the next game. Bird Guy, thanks so much for the follow. Thank you so much for the follow. Thanks so much to everyone who's tuning in. All right. I guess we're gonna play with Drillbur, with Drillbur the whole. I keep forgetting to take it out, so I guess we're gonna play with Drillbur the whole live stream. All right, so decent-ish hand, not great, not bad. Okay. So Dunsparce probably means we're up against Alakazam. It's always the Alakazam. So let's go ahead and Ultra Ball for the Squawk. Say if it's available. Yes, it is. No Pokemon prize really. Bossasaurus available. All recovery available. So I must have priced a bunch of energy. I did price 3 fighting and a jet and a gong. 3 fighting, jet, gong. Alright, so let's just go ahead and leave the Charcadet ready to go. Go ahead and Carmine. Okay, pretty solid. We get the Lunatone. We get the Solrock. I'm assuming my Charcadet is safe here, which honestly I could be wrong. Let's go ahead and draw with Lunar Cycle. Not super happy about that. Okay, I'm gonna lose a boss, but it is what it is. And then let's do 1 of each. I still have Legacy and 2 Fire in the deck available, and still plenty of fighting in order to reach some good numbers. Yuck. Horrible draw of the Squawk. No Ultra Ball, no Ceruledge. We need a big Lunar Cycle to help us out. See the backup Dunsparce. I mean, I could just retreat into Solrock, take the first knockout that way. I would probably benefit off of doing that as well. We see the Abra there. See the Abra get benched. We see a Puffin for 2 more Abras. Yep. So we have no hand disruption, and we have no hand disruption, and we've lost Boss and Briar. So Boss probably not going to be important. Briar probably going to be pretty important, and maybe the Legacy Energy too. So something to keep in mind. The one thing we cannot do is whiff an attack next turn. That's the number one. Like, we need to. We're gonna win in 6 turns if we end up winning. So we need to start attacking next turn, no matter what. And thankfully we have the Solrock, right, to do that. Iron Bundle. I don't think it's gonna, like, it could come in clutch next turn. Probably not now with the other Dunsparce now getting benched. So I might just give myself the bench space. I can't imagine. Well, I mean, maybe there's errors. Okay, that's a great top deck. Pretty great top deck. Ooh, and the Legacy Energy. Okay. So the only thing that would make this better would be having Turo sometime soon for the Squawk. So hear me out. I don't need too many energies anyways. I don't hate evolving Legacy, just take the knockout. Sure, Charcadet will have 2 energies. Sorry, Ceruledge will have 2 energies, and that's fine. I could also go retreat into Solrock, attack with Solrock, and then go into a Legacy. That's a little more enticing, in a way. So I'm gonna do that, but I'm definitely not sure about this. I'm definitely not 100% sure about this, about doing it this way. Solrock could miss a knockout on a Kadabra, for example. I do have the other boss, which is nice to possibly chase a Kadabra in case I need to, or chase like at their last Dunsparce. Oh, Alexam ignores Legacy. You're completely right. Okay, that's true. So I'm glad I retreated. Thank you so much, Atreyu. You're completely right. It's only by damage, and Alakazam places damage counters. Therefore, that doesn't work. Therefore, that doesn't work. Okay, so the boss needs to be very... the boss needs to be very assertive, if you will. Make sure I ask as much as possible out of my opponent. That's what I need to do with the boss. And I do need to eventually find Palpad for Briar, possibly. Yeah, so actually, I probably don't want the Solrock in the active, right? Unless I use like 2 Solrocks. I probably don't want Solrock in the active. I actually want the Ceruledge. I want them to take 2 prizes, so that my Briar possibly works. Okay, they go into the Alexam. They're at 13. 13 cards. Half of the Dunsparce. This might be the turn where KOing the Dunsparce might be good. Okay, never mind. Oh my gosh, do they have the boss? I guess they always had knockout on Squawk anyways. They played a Bill this turn, so they might have Countercatcher, I guess. I mean, so when they have a 13 card hand, what does knocking out Dunsparce even do for me? Okay, they're going down to 12. Well, yeah, never mind. I'm not going Dunsparce anymore. Artisan. And powerful hand for 220 damage. So, I mean, it's asking them to have energy, right? They did get the knockout. And I can't take a kill with Solrock this turn. Alright, do I have... There's the Briar, but yeah, the price trade is too good for them. And I don't have a way to offset it anyways. So I'm pretty sure there's no way for me to win this game. I mean, sure, let's draw. But yeah, I don't think I'm gonna win this game. They always want to KO, I never want to KO. So that's pretty bad. If I go bundle... Alright, I'm just gonna attach the fire. Keep the Legacy 4 Soul Rock for next turn, potentially. So if I knock out Alakazam, I'm asking them to have Alakazam Blood Energy. If I knock out Kadabra, they have Alakazam Energy, and then they just need the Dunsparce and a bit of draw. So I think just knocking out the active is the way to go. I don't see a better play. But yeah, I need to attack 5 more times. My opponent, after like 4 more times after this one, my opponent maybe 3 if I can get the Briar off somehow. But my opponent only needs to attack 2 more times, right? Yeah, I don't think there's a way. I mean, there aren't 5. So maybe they end up not having enough recovery. Like they don't bench. Well, I mean, they have the Artisan, so there's the 4th Abra. Unless it's priced. Unless it's in their hand already. Like, yeah. Them whiffing an attack is the only way I could maybe win. And it's not very likely, so. But we're not out of it yet, right? They need a 14 card hand and an Alakazam, which they don't have just yet. If they whiff this turn, I definitely go boss KO the Kadabra and Palpat back the 2 boss and then draw with Lunar Cycle to get closer to the boss's orders. Okay, they go Hilda, so they have, yeah, Enriching and the Dunsparce guaranteed. Never mind. There's no way they whiff. If they didn't go for the Alakazam, then they probably already have it, or they're just going to draw so many cards that they're going to have it, right? So the Soul Rock could actually matter. There is a world where the Soul Rock actually matters. Because now, like, they need... This Alakazam has to KO a Ceruledge. And then my Ceruledge KOs their Alakazam. And then their Alakazam KOs my Ceruledge. And then they're at 1 price card. And then I have my last, hopefully, Ceruledge to KO their Alakazam. And if they can't bench another Abra, then that does it. Right? So... It comes down to, can they bench the other Abra? If they bench it next turn, they're in a pretty good spot. If they don't... No, actually, they need to bench it next turn. Otherwise, I might be able to win. We'll see. We will see. There's the Abra. Yeah. So they're going to bench it this turn. Then they'll have Kadabra plus Alakazam. They could have another Rare Candy. But yeah, now there's just no way I win this. I don't think. There's no way I win this. I have a student that plays Erosic and doesn't play Legacy in his Ceruledge deck because he keeps facing Alakazam in local leagues. I mean, sure. I don't think any single deck in the format should be teching for Alakazam, but that is a way you could deal with that for sure. Okay, so I just need to keep asking my opponent, like I said, to have the most amount of resources each turn, right? But yeah, like if you're gonna play a 4 Junior League Cup or a 4 Senior League Cup where, you know, 2 of them are gonna play Alakazam, sure, tech for them. If you're gonna play at a regional, you definitely don't need to tech for Alakazam. Okay, I have 1 fire left. I don't have Ultra Wall, I do have Nice Stretcher. Alright, I don't think I need to do anything else. I'm just gonna take the KO and see what my opponent does. But yeah, this is not great. I needed them to not bench Abra last turn. I needed them to bench Abra this turn and then for them to whiff the Rare Candy. That was what I needed. But between Artisan, replenishing the Dunsparce after they used them, Alakazam draw, there's a Kadabra, so yeah, now them whiffing Alakazam. I mean, there are 2 Alakazam in the discard pile, right? How many do they play? 4? Is it I have no idea. Is it a 4-4-4 line, maybe? Maybe I should play Alakazam. Like, I know what the deck does. I've never played a game with the deck. Maybe I should play Alakazam. I'll give it a try one of these days. Everyone's asking about Alakazam, so I guess I will give it a try eventually. Very eventually. All right. So there's the Alakazam. My opponent's being very methodical, which I don't mind, right? They're make sure they're like having these pauses, which would also signify that they're not like very or analyzing perfectly what they need to do. That's going to be the third Alakazam in the discard pile. And yeah, the legacy doesn't matter. Even if the legacy did proc here and my opponent went down to 2, Briar still wouldn't work to win, I mean. They go Enhanced Hammer just for good measure. Okay. But yeah, it comes down to, does my opponent have a 4th Alakazam, which I assume they do, right? Like energy plus stretcher, they can't only play 1 stretcher, and they can't only play 2 energy, so there's no way they don't have this. Okay, let's go. I mean, this really doesn't matter. The fire is in the deck, so let's go ahead and Vessel away Drillbur for the fire. And let's Night Stretcher for the Surledge and hope for the best, which is not much. Is it Turo here? It's not. So I guess I could Turo the Squawk, which doesn't matter whatsoever. Can't Turo the Squawk. Alright. So if somehow my opponent doesn't have the win here, we can chase down the Kadabra and still my opponent would have another turn to stabilize. So it's not looking good. Even if my opponent whiffs, it's not looking good. I wish they would just promote the Alakazam or the Kadabra to just take the knockout here. There's the energy. Go ahead and evolve. I can concede, please. Tulip. This gets you 4 in any combination of basic energy and Pokemon back to your hand. So yeah. Surledge, not very impressive for sure. Very linear deck. It's powerful, but it's very hit or miss, and we missed more than we hit today. Alright, so our second deck of the day today will be a more top tier deck, will be Dragapult. Let me get that ready. We're gonna give Dragapult another chance because it definitely failed us last time we used it. We did just as bad with Dragapult as we did with Surledge. So let's give Dragapult a chance to redeem itself. And there we go. Now we're going to be playing with Dragapult EX Dusknoir, the classic. We already played it previously last week in a live stream, but honestly things just did not go our way. We were not able to set up, we were not able to just get Dragapult going. We were whiffing early, we were drawing dead, pretty bad hands overall. So this is my favorite version of Dragapult right now. It's the most standard one. I think it's the one that got second place in Stuttgart, right, by Alexander, I do believe. One thing I have been toying around with sometimes is having a couple rare candy in the deck. I feel like Monkey Dory is a card that I very rarely, if ever, get to use. It's like Monkey Dory in Dragapult is like Briar in Surledge. Yeah, I barely ever have like a spare attachment that can go to the Monkey Dory that will actually make a big difference. Yeah, so overall, I feel like Monkey Dory is very cuttable. That could be a rare candy, and then the other rare candy could come in the spot of one of the boss's orders, maybe one of the counter catchers, somewhere else, maybe one of the Dust Clubs, probably not. But yeah, two rare candy, something that I have enjoyed. But for today, we're just going to play the super standard Dragapult deck with a couple heal die. I really love having Search for the Neo Upper Energy as our ace spec. And outside of that, we have Phantom Dive doing or placing a lot of damage counters, which is always very nice to see. Combined with the Curse Blast from Dust Clubs and Dusknoir going perfectly, along with the extra damage counters from Flying Entry and sometimes the damage from the Monkey Dory. For Lily and for Iono Engine, pretty straightforward. 6 Gusting effects to make sure that we are getting maximum damage out of or maximum value out of our damage output and our damage counter placement, then a couple jamming tower to mess with our opponents, a lot of Pokemon Surge, and the bare minimum of energies that I think the deck can run. So let's jump into the ladder, play some games with Dragapult, hopefully have it redeem itself, and it does better this time around. So let's go. We want to climb back up, hopefully end the stream closer to 1600 again, or over 1600, and Dragapult, arguably within the top 3 best decks in the format for sure, hopefully can make things happen. Yeah, we just need solid starting hands. I feel like that's always what you're asking for. Yeah, I want a solid starting hand, and I'll do the rest with my decision making. But sometimes the decision making is not possible because your starting hands just do not cooperate. So give me 7 good cards, please, PTCG Live. And I mean, going first, this is fine. We have Lily, we have Ultra Ball to potentially establish the Latias, to head into Body. So we'll take it. We'll take it. Could be better, could be worse. So having a Lily in your starting hand always gives you hope, I feel. I don't know if you guys feel it or feel that way, but whenever I get like a starting hand with a Lily or an Iono and like a Puffin, I know that I'll have a chance in the game, right? And that's all I ask, right? I want to, if I'm going to lose, let me lose like on my terms, you know, let me get outplayed by someone. Let it be the mistakes that I make that cost me the game, rather than just dead drawing and not playing. Now, Yoids Lloyd, thanks so much for the follow. This is new. Larvitar. Okay, so we're up against the Tyranitar that shuts down items. We already have double Body in play, which will be pretty nice for our own item lock shenanigans, for our damage spread shenanigans. So yeah, I think I know Dragapult, if it's active, not Dragapult, Tyranitar, if it's active, it item locks. I priced a fire energy, not too bad. I priced nothing too major. Oh wait, one Duskull. Alright, I'm just gonna grab the Latias. I really value getting the attachment for turn on the Dreepy if possible. Well, no attachment and no no attachment and no Puffin for Body use. So now that Latias is gonna be sitting there like a duck, right? Not doing anything. Oh well, not much I could do about that. But it does have the Lily after that raw double Puffin in their starting hand into the Tyranitar. My goodness. I mean, when they just have the draw, they have the draw, right? There's just no stopping them. Alright, they're gonna discard... Oh my gosh. They're gonna discard 2 of the top cards off my deck. What? Stop. Why? I mean... and I lost an energy too. And now I can't Puffin for another Dreepy. I just have to draw them raw. Alright, I was about to say, like, a boss's orders onto this Tyranitar feels pretty good, right? I don't know if it's enough to buy me a turn though. So I think I have to hedge on them not having boss's orders themselves. And if they go after the Dracloak, then a loss is a loss, right? Jeez. Best 3 decks in the format: Guardy, Jelly, Zoro, and Dengo. Zoro is definitely not a top 3 deck. Like, not in terms of popularity, and I don't think you can argue Zoro is a better deck than Dragapult and Charizard right now. Okay, I feel like Blood Moon can be the hero to take the hit here. It has for retreat, so it's fine. I want to give another prize to my opponent. Does Dragapult even have a bad matchup other than Guardy? I mean, no, but also doesn't have a great matchup either. Like maybe Charizard. Like Dragapult is just like it has a chance against everything. It's just very awkward in the beginning, right? It gets more and more powerful as time goes on, but in general, it's definitely very awkward overall, right? Okay, so we survived. Nothing too major. Got discarded, which is great. I mean, the energy is pretty major, I guess. But that's fine. Oh, I already had a Luminous. Whoops, I did not notice I already had a Luminous. All right, so let's go Recon. I could, with this Dusknoir draw, I can now take down both Tyranids that have energy and make it so that I will be taking 2 prizes and my opponent will not be able to attack me. So this is looking pretty good now. We're gonna go Curse Blast. Sure, my opponent gets a prize. Put the damage on the Tyranitar. Don't take a prize card. Let's get... Kind of don't mind getting attachment on the Blood Moon. Just because I could use that to just 1KO a Tyranitar as well. And then we're gonna go ahead and retreat, promote the Pulse, play the Jamming Tower, nullifying the extra HP. I don't get an extra prize card, that's fine. I'm still getting 2 prizes here. And I'm taking down 2 threats, right? Setting up a Tyranitar is not easy. And now they are gone. Zorg's matchup spread is way better than Pult Dusk. I mean, sure, against the top decks, but Zorg has a way worse matchup against... Like, you have to hard tech for Dengo, Raging Bolt can be problematic. Like, all the mid-tier decks give Zorg a lot of trouble, right? So if you only face Guardies and Pults, sure, you're gonna have a good time, right? But even Mega Absol can be problematic, right? So it depends on the build, of course. But like, you can't tech for everything, so you're always gonna have a gaping hole. So I mean, Zorg could be a top 4, definitely a top 5 deck. I don't know if I would label it personally as the second best deck in the format. Anything less than 4 stretchers scares you? Jotonia and Jamie in this? Jotonia and Jaime. In Dragapult? With no more 4 research, I think it's fine. To play less than 4. 4 was pretty nice, but now you don't have 4 research in the deck. I don't think you need 4. Alright, so my opponent, doing a lot of things for sure, will keep me under item lock, but I have the boss. So I can chase down the Tyranitar and essentially eliminate the only thing that threatens me. I can't win this turn. If I had Hawlucha here, I could win this turn. But that's fine. Knocking out Tyranitar feels like... Oh wait, never mind. There's the battle cage, so never mind. That's fine. This is so weird though. Like, battle cage is like, the way it's programmed, it lets the damage go through and then it heals it. Well, because in order to win an event heavier, you need to, like, it's not low percentage decks. Dragapult and Guardy account for what? 25% of the meta, if you want, right? That still leaves 75% of the meta you have to worry about, right? Especially in the early rounds. As long as you advance, as long as you advance in the tournament, sure. So it's a pretty good play for sure, but like, if Zorg needs to get the right matchups to win a tournament, then in my eyes that makes it weaker than something like Dragapult, Gardevoir, or Goldengo, which can, with, like, they don't depend on good matchups to win the tournament. Does that make sense? Like, that's my train of thought, you know? Because they're just so inherently stronger, you know? That's like my train of thought, but I mean, we can agree to disagree, and I definitely think Zorg is underrated at this point, and it's incredibly powerful, you know? Its showing in Stuttgart is definitely not representative of its true strength, if you will. Okay, so, I mean, I have the other boss. So I have 2 options. I could I could go boss KO the Larvitar. Runs down what? 2 candy? And what is the Tyranitar even doing to me? I'm just gonna play the Halucha now. Oh wait, does this stop? Does this get stopped by Battle Cage? Oh, it does. Oh, whoops, my bad. I didn't even realize that. Okay, never mind. Never mind. I didn't even realize that. Okay. Jamming Tower. Yeah. Of course Battle Cage stops that. So this game, right? Unless they're playing Dragapult or they play some sort of healing, this should be game. Like, even if they get Candy Tyranitar attack, they're not even KOing the Dragapult. And they need another stadium. And they need a tool card. So this should be game, I think. Yeah, so I'm not saying like play around low percentage decks. I'm saying those low percentage decks are like the accumulation or the sum of all those low percentage decks leads to a high percentage of the meta. And therefore surviving them can be problematic. But if you survive, you get past the early rounds, then yes, absolutely. Right now, Judges are first confirmed post-hand disruption card. Good. Judge is pretty balanced, I would say. Most of the time, at least. Definitely not going to be paying too much attention to post-rotation overall, because it doesn't affect us today or for Toronto or Merida or UIC or whatnot. I usually don't pay too much attention to that, but it's nice to know, I guess. Starbay, sí voy a jugar el DLC de Legends, pero después. Entonces necesito... No, por favor, no spoilers. Dogpoke, thanks so much for subscribing. I'm so sorry I missed it. I'm sure you're around. Thanks so much. I will not be playing in Toronto, no. I will not be playing in Toronto. Will not be playing in Toronto. Alright, I found boss off of the Iono to 1. Pretty lucky. I didn't have any other counter stadiums. But yeah, like even if my opponent got to Tyranitar, they needed the tool as well. And even if they did, right? Best case scenario, they go find the tool, attack my Dragapult. I attack them, they go KO me, and then Blood Moon has the energy ready to go to close out the game, right? So I don't think they had a chance despite the explosive start, and a single Dragapult did them in. All right, so that always happens. All right. Yeah, thanks so much for the subscription, Dogpoke. You want to go first? No. Y no spoilers, por favor. Y sí, ya tengo testing group, Starbay. Ya tengo testing group. Ice Snipe, thanks so much for the follow. If I missed anyone, Lloyd, thanks so much for the follow. Micha Secas, Bird Guy, I think I mentioned you all. Thanks so much for the follow. Thanks so much for the support, guys. It really, really helps a lot. Encourages me to keep streaming. Lutonia and Jaime, thanks so much for the follow as well. Really appreciate it. And here we go. I really need all the support to not tilt through these horrible, horrible draws. Dang. Oh, and we're up against Alakazam. I mean, just seeing this means I'm pretty certain we're gonna lose. Pretty. Yeah, we're definitely losing this match. But you know what? Let's thin. And let's power up the Latias. Let's go ahead and power up the Latias, because why not? why not? Bossman Co. TCG, thanks so much for the follow as well. We are now 20 away from 7,000 followers on Twitch. I mean, it does feel like I'm starting fresh, basically. Wow, this person is playing a tech for the mirror. This person is playing Zerozic for the Alakazam mirror match. Ladder is crazy. I really want to stop facing Alakazam. Oh my gosh, okay. There's the Alakazam. Please whiff energy. I mean, because they're playing Zatu, they're probably playing, yeah, a higher amount of energy overall. Alright, so either we top deck or we lose. Ugh, I mean, sure, that gives me Faz, but like, I'm not gonna win. Like, I can extend the game, I'm not gonna win. And this is what I mean, like, Dragapult, obviously Dragapult is a good deck, but the hands that I tend to get, I mean, the previous game was fine, right? But this happens more often than I would like. And this is where you'd be like, well, Pablo, why don't you just switch the Hilda to Dawn? Yeah? So we could give it a try, I guess. We could give that a try. We could give that a try for sure. All right. We lose a coin flip, so we're probably gonna end up going first. Thank you, Bossman. Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks so much. I definitely haven't streamed in a long time consistently, but we are 10 days into December, and I have streamed 6 of those, I believe. I streamed 4 days last week, 2 days this week, and the plan is to alternate English and Spanish. My goodness, what is this hand? How do I start Latias back-to-back games with... Okay. So yeah. Brock and Pult. Yeah, Brock or Hilda definitely seem like good options to have a bit of a better start, I guess. Hey, Jonathan. I'm doing well, thank you. How about you? And yeah, Dragapult feels like... Sometimes it feels like the best deck in the format and unstoppable, and then you get these freaky hands that just do not cooperate. And like, okay, my opponent decided to go first, so that's good for me. In terms of like, I can't play the Iono, but now all these good cards are going to the bottom. Okay, so we're up against Ceruledge. So now we're about to get wrecked by Ceruledge, I bet. 2 Brock, 1 Hilda, maybe, yeah. Could see 1 Brock, 1 Hilda, 1 Dawn. I also wouldn't mind that. I think Dawn, especially if you end up playing... Like, I kind of fancy Rare Candy, so Hilda and Dawn seem a lot stronger if you have a... Or Candy feels a lot stronger if you have Hilda or Dawn as opposed to Brock. Yeah, Brock is definitely useful as well. Okay, so... Okay, I'm pretty sure Lily is weaker. Like, I don't remember the exact formula. Because I have, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards in my hand. So if I Lily, I could redraw, like my deck becomes 52 cards. And I draw 8 of them. But if I Iono, I'm guaranteed very different cards from this one. And I really want Puffins. So my instinct tells me Iono here. However, I want to change my mind because my opponent had a weak start and they only have 2 cards in hand. Okay, so I'm changing my mind mid-sentence. However, still no Puffin. No Budyu. A single Ultra Ball. So now do I item lock to try and continue to slow them down? Sacrificing my setup essentially, or... No, I'm gonna go for the 3B, but I'm not happy about it. I want it to be known that I am not happy about this. Gosh, these draws, man. This deck just... This is why I haven't played Pult to a major. Like, my draws with this deck are just out of this world atrocious. And like, this is the bare minimum you would expect, right? What do you think about Latias and Gardevoir to pull off a Frillish turn 1? I love it. Yeah, it's been very successful. Latias is also a very powerful attacker. in and of itself, like 200 Eon Blade plus double Monkey Dory is a 1KO on Golden Go. It's a 1KO on Raging Bolt, it's a 1KO on every like basic V and whatnot. So I really like it. I really like Gladius for the mobility it gives you, and also for the attack. Yeah, for the raw attack against any high HP stage 1 or basic. Seems pretty good. But yeah, I do like it. This would never happen on straight Pult. I mean, straight Pult plays the exact same engine though, no? 4 Iono, 4 Lily, 4 Puffin, 4 Ultra Ball, 4 Dreepy. I don't know if we would have much of a chance with straight Pult. Anyways. Shotlight, thanks so much for the follow. Twitch, and 130 damage into the battle cage. So really going for the anti-Dragapult stuff now. Alright, so we have these two. Hopefully, now I'm gonna Iono. It is what it is. I need a new hand. Even if I give my opponent a brand new hand. If they get boss, oh my gosh. Okay, well, I mean, this is decent, I guess. What do I have? What do I find off the top? Hilda for Pult guarantee. Alright, so best case scenario, my opponent doesn't have boss's orders, but based on all the previous games, I'm going to assume. I mean, I even want to spread the energy, I think. Just not go full commit on the Pult, on the cloak. I'm gonna assume my opponent's gonna have boss. Like that, we're always playing against the tide. So them having boss, assuming they play 2 or 3, is not completely out of this world for sure. Hopefully they don't, but not counting on it. Not counting on it. Lunar Cycle, yep, gives them an even bigger chance to have the boss. Hopefully they had 2 boss in their previous hand and now they're down to the bottom. Did I did discard the Halucha, but there is a universe. Okay, they don't. Okay, there is a universe where if I can find Night Stretcher, I could wipe both of their attackers. Well, Night Stretcher and Jamming Tower. So it's very difficult for sure. Very, very difficult to pull off for sure. So just straight Iono, I guess. Yeah, that is my 3rd Iono though. So I'm down to 1 Iono for late game disruption. No energy even, my goodness. Maybe I was a little too pessimistic last turn by spreading the energy. Maybe I was a little too pessimistic. All right. They're at 6 energy. So I'm thinking I could. No, I can't use Dosnor. Never mind. I was about to do the silly once again. I'm still gonna go after the Charcadet, even though I don't get a prize card. I still have the possibility to do to wipe out their board if I find Night Stretcher plus Jamming Tower next turn, right? And an energy, I guess. But yeah, you definitely pop before Iono, but there's a battle cage in play. Like Dosnor would not have worked if I pop, right? Because of the battle cage. All right, there's a Night Stretcher. I didn't take a prize, so my Lily still gives me 8, which is nice. There's a single Charcadet in play so far, right? They're gonna draw with Lunatone. They should definitely be drawing with Lunatone first before committing the Night Stretcher, so that's a slight mistake. Oh, it protects the bench. You're right, you're right. You are correct. It only protects the bench. You're completely right. No, you're right, Javier. Battle cage prevents everything on the bench, not on the active, and I was popping on the active. Okay, they go boss on the Dusknoir. Yep. Going boss on the Dusknoir is a way to protect. So yeah, getting heavily punished for the energy spread and it could be we could be tied 4-4 maybe, and now I'm down 2 prizes with a single Iono left. So yeah, that was a mistake. Yeah, that was a mistake for sure. All right, so back to square one. Now I can't even guarantee a knockout on the active. I think I want to establish the double Dragapult before I Lily. Okay, that's pretty good. Maybe not anymore. Can I get... Well, the play is no longer active. What am I doing? Okay, I'm definitely not playing this very well. Definitely not playing this very well. I'll keep the energy. No stadium found. And I think finding stadium is pretty important. I need some sort of damage spread going. And I need... I was gonna say, I need a Night Stretcher to maybe get another Duskull down. Or to get a Duskull down, but that's just not gonna happen, so... Yeah, just attack into the active. Not placing damage. Like, if I were placing damage, I might be able to still KO both Zero Edge next turn. But Battle Cage is just really putting in the work. And I just can't find Jamming Tower. Alright. But yeah, I'm definitely making things hard for myself, so no one to blame but myself on this game. In terms of why am I going to lose. And the energies are building up. If they don't evolve, and I finally find my Jamming Tower plus Night Stretcher, here's the universe where I end up winning that way. Now they're gonna remove the damage from my Latias, so I could have had an opening to use Monkey Dory, wipe out their board, but now I don't have that. Okay, we still have the possibility to wipe out their board though. Well, you just need Jamming Tower. Yeah, we just need Jamming Tower here. We just need Jamming Tower. That's all we need. Thank you. Thank you so much, deck. Okay, so they didn't evolve. That's pretty huge. Now I can go Countercatcher the Char Cadets and have a knockout on these 3 guys. I can also Iono this turn. The question is, do I want to Iono this turn? Or they don't play Iono, right? So the best they can do, but here's what I'm thinking. I could Iono, limit their hand, blah, blah, blah. I could end up winning next turn. Yeah, that was a good top deck, but I was going to see 6 from the Iono, 3 from Fez, and 4 more from Dracloak. So I was going to see 13 out of my 17 card deck. So I feel like it would have been pretty unfortunate if I whiffed. So yes, I top decked it, but I didn't need to top deck, if you will. Yeah? So let's go. So I'm just going to accumulate resources in my hand. I really, really would love a Night Stretcher. I'm definitely getting closer to a Night Stretcher, right? Turo could be useful. We're at 10 energy. Okay, so I will attach energy here, I guess. And then let's go Countercatcher the Char Cadets. Oh, it had to be boss. What am I doing? It should have been boss. I'm overthinking this. It should have been boss's orders, Char Cadets. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and thin. Not able to find Night Stretcher, but I need the Night Stretcher next turn. If they end up benching something like... I don't want to mess this up. If they end up benching something like Fez in order to draw extra cards, then I can just win. Yeah? Or I want to make sure I have knockout on double Char Cadet next turn as well. So that's the plan. We'll see if it works. So not getting punished for my mistakes because my opponent whiffed the second Zero Edge onto that Char Cadet. If they had evolved, we would be in a lot of trouble for sure. Oh, it's 3 prizes, yeah. Alright. So Countercatcher still live. Boss definitely live. We have Duskull. I can't take 3 on these guys. So my goal is to just take 2, right? And I can guarantee take 2. Well, I can't take 2 if they bench 2 80 HP Char Cadets, actually. No, I can. Oh my gosh. Okay, they benched 2 80 HP Char Cadets. But I can with Turo. So I need one of my 2 Night Stretchers from the next 5 the next 5 cards, right? My top deck and the 2 Dracloaks. Okay, so I probably should have benched the Drippy so I could evolve into a 3rd Dracloak last turn. Actually, no, never mind. Now I just win with Night Stretcher, KO, Fez, KO, Drillbur. Now I just need Night Stretcher, and I'm guaranteed Night Stretcher, so that's game. Now I just win. No, I don't win. What am I saying? I need double Countercatcher to win. So I need Night Stretcher because I can't Iono. Alright, I'm all over the place today. I apologize. Okay, so I need Night Stretcher, right? There's nothing else left to thin. Fez enables when? No, Fez is not active because they didn't take a knockout this turn. If I had benched the Drippy and the Dracloak, then the 2 Night Stretchers would need to be in the bottom 3 cards in my hand. But there we go. Yeah, so we're gonna go Countercatcher, you, and we're gonna go nice. Let's not mess this up. I definitely don't deserve to win this game. I played this really badly. Really badly. Pretty much in every turn, I played this really badly. Yeah, so gotta recognize that. Gotta recognize your mistakes. My opponent missed on the crucial turn to let me have an opportunity to make the comeback. And yeah, the importance of 80 HP, right? If they hadn't benched Fez, the importance of the 80 HP Char Cadet was clearly shown in this particular match. Yeah, so yeah. We won off 2 attacks, but we only won because my opponent whiffed the Cerulege. I really cannot emphasize that enough. My poor play was compensated by my opponent's unlucky draw right there. Which, to be fair, I did knock out a Char Cadet. Oh wait, did they just bench the Char Cadet actually that turn? Maybe I'm wrong. Actually, no, never mind. No, never mind. I cost it, right? Because I went Countercatcher KO the Char Cadet with the Legacy, and then they were only able to bench 1 Char Cadet. So that was the thing, right? So the Char Cadet couldn't evolve. What they couldn't do was bench 2 Char Cadets. That's what they couldn't do. So that was the unfortunate part for them, that they couldn't bench 2 more Char Cadets. That's what defined the game. Okay, why is Latias still... Is this the 4th game in a row that I have Latias in my starting hand? What the heck? Why am I starting Latias every game? Okay, so this is Blaziken. This is probably Azul's Blaziken deck that he played yesterday on his live stream. And I mean, those mulligans have now made this mediocre hand into a very good one. My top deck was Puffin, so that's very nice to see. Ichipolin should slow them down quite a bit. Combustion doesn't even KO my body, 2-hit KOs it, so we're in a pretty good spot. Yeah. Now we have a pretty decent hand. We get the Hilda. We do get the Hilda, so part of me wants to just go Hilda this turn. Oof. I prized 2 Luminous and a Psychic. Okay, so I definitely want to go Hilda. And just grab the Neoper, now that I'm going to slow down my opponents and basically have them be like in super passive mode. And then I can go Dracloak, Lily. And that seems pretty strong, right? So, especially against their slower start, no Puffin, no nothing. So, yeah, así se la sabe la de chambear Latias, exactamente. Le encanta andar por acá. Le encanta ser el centro de atención. Okay, so we see the town store, we see the combo scan, we see a Lily, so we'll be able to town store for TM Evo. Probably should have town stored first before the Lily just to thin an extra card. You don't want to draw the TM Evo, you want to draw basic Pokemon. So yeah, so much for slowing down my opponent. That did not happen. That did not happen. So much for slowing down my opponent. Alright. There's a Pidgeotto, there's a Combusken. So now we are in a pretty bad spot. Now my opponent threatens the baby Combusken, or the baby Blaziken, I think. They don't have energy in their discard pile, so that could be what slows them down. I'll go ahead and attach. The only way I counteract the Blaziken attack is like triple Dreepy or triple Cloak, right? So let's just get all the Dreepies out. And let's go Recon, see if we can find another Dracloak. No. I do want the Iono. And like I said, Monkey Dory just feels pretty useless to me in general. Okay. Not super happy about the Dragapult discard because it could be a way to protect my energy. But if they have it, right? They will need a lot to pull it off next turn. Like they need Blaziken EX, regular Blaziken, and a way to discard an energy and another fire energy. So a fire energy, any other energy, Blaziken EX, and Blaziken. And a way to discard the energy. So that's like 5 very specific things, which they might have access to Pidgeot, but Pidgeot only searches for one of them. And I think the biggest thing would be the discard, right? I don't know what engine they're playing. Could be Dawn, could be Lily plus Iono, so no research. We do see the Blaziken. And we see the Pidgeot. Okay, so this could just be a boss KO on my Neo Upper, which is not great, but I would be okay with, I think. If I can manage to find a Dusclops to then go pop Dusclops, 5-1 Combusken, attack, well, maybe not. Yeah, maybe not. Attacking, I mean, KOing the Combusken is fine, but like knocking it out is fine, but we're not KOing the Blaziken, right? So this is bad though. Well, no, this is good. No boss means 1 Dragapult in the discard, 1 Dragapult at the bottom, but we get Hilda, we also get Dusclops, and we have guaranteed energy as well. We have double Recon as well, so I am feeling the pressure though. Aries Maya, thanks so much for the follow. Thank you so much. 18 away from 7,000 people, so if you're watching and you're not following, I would love to ask you why. I would love to know why. Okay, so they get the energy. Blaziken also can't attack next turn, so they will Artisan. And probably for what? For Monkey Dory? No, for another Torchic. Okay. I could KO that Torchic. Could KO the Combusken instead. And put 1 damage on the Torchic, making it harder for them to attack. That might be what I end up doing. Okay. Going to the Cloak. They did Iono. And Iono Energies Bolt did go to the bottom, so I do like the idea of shuffling the deck. I can do it with Artisan. I'm not gonna bench anything, but I do like the idea of it. Alright. I could also just not KO any of these. Alright, let's start with the Recon Directive. Counter Catcher. That just resets the Blaziken, and I don't want to do that on purpose, but I might need it later. Then we go Recon. There's a Pult, so now I can use my Hilda for another Dracloak. So that's pretty nice. And guarantee myself, what? Energy? Sure. And let's go Cloak. And we get Iono for next turn. Not bad at all. Also Nest Ball for Fez. I don't think I need to. Did prize a Duskull, that's not available. But do I spread the energy? Like, my opponent could now go into the thing. I don't hate KOing these two. It's costly, but I don't hate it. So, yeah, it's very resource intensive. It is very resource intensive, so I'm just gonna spread the damage. I'll go 1 and 5, so punish whoever doesn't evolve. It is a little too resource intensive, and my opponent's not threatening knockout. If they go after my, like, a Dracloak and a Dustclops, I still have my Dragapult DX intact, right? So that wouldn't be terrible. Maybe putting 3 on Pidgeot instead of 5 on Combusken, that probably was better though. 3 on Pidgeot, I mean I have Dusknoir, sure. I have Dusknoir. Okay, we're gonna see the Ultra Wall. Vaz and Herballoon, so being very conscious and very cautious of their discard pile. Sorry, not the discard pile, the bench. Okay, we see the other Blaziken EX. I can't KO both. Maybe this is where I want Monkey Dory. They're gonna Dawn for another combo scan, another basic, maybe their own Monkey Dory. Yeah, and at no stage 1. Can I... Okay, they're just gonna secret box their whole hand. Goodbye Monkey Dory. So they're gonna get Candy. Do they have the energy? They don't have energy. So they can't... I don't think they can attack with the Blaziken. They just don't have the energy, right? They're missing 1 energy. TM Evo, Lily, and Candy. So they can Candy into Blaziken, sure. So they have successfully protected both. And I know they have a Lily in their hand. They can retreat and attack with the other Blaziken, sure. Yeah, the 5... Okay, so the 5 should have gone to the Pidgeot, because then I could maybe Monkey Dory 3 to the Pidgeot and knock that out. Oh, they do get energy, because they have the Quick Search. Alright, never mind. So they can attack with the Blaziken this turn. Which is not very nice. It does... Oh, it's 120 to the active, 120 to another Pokemon. Okay, so I wonder what they go after, the Dustclops or one of these friends. The 120 damage puts me directly in range of the 200 damage attack, right? So if I can set up the Monkey Dory, I definitely should. Did you miss Ceruledge, Golden Empoleon? Yes, you did. I'm sorry, but yes, you did. You did miss Ceruledge. Alright. So... I feel like you go after the Dustclops. They're choosing the Dracloak, which I don't mind at all. I know they have Lily in hand, and I have 1 more card. I have Lily and Energy, right? Lily, Energy, and 1 more card. I have a Dark Energy. Okay. So Fast seems pretty important to try and find the 1 copy I have of Luminous Energy to put me out of range. Now, I could go KO Blaziken by popping Dusknoir. Dust gives them an extra prize. I could go Counter Catcher, KO Pidgeot. None of those seem great though. Okay, it's... I'm torn as to what to do here. I'm really torn. 1 Luminous Energy. My chance of finding that are so low. I don't know if it's even worth going for. Can't believe in this game I priced 2, right? Like, I definitely need to take prizes. So I'm just wondering, what is my best course of action? The way I get the most value out of my damage is Dusknoir KO this guy. But then that makes my Iono weaker. So it's actually Dusknoir on this Blaziken, Countercatcher this Blaziken. No, that doesn't get me a knockout. Ugh. Okay. I'm gonna Curse Blast on the active. My opponent gets surprised, sure. And then I'll go after this Blaziken. So I'm not super happy with this play, but it is what it is. Then we'll go Iono. Hopefully we can find a Luminous, which we did prize 2 of them. There's only 1 left in the deck. Odds are not in our favor. However, what is this hand? 3 Ionos, 2 Lilies, and the Luminous. I mean, I'll take it, sure. But what the heck are these draws? Okay. Alright. Yeah, the Luminous is really, really big. I cannot emphasize how big. It puts my Dragapult out of range, which is pretty fantastic. So let's go 3 damage counters here. Goodbye Blaziken. Now it doesn't matter, I'll just take the prize card. Hopefully a Luminous is found within the next 2 prizes. To find an Ultra Ball, which is pretty nice. Probably gonna discard these 2. Find another Dracloak. Now my Dragapult is protected. My Dracloaks are protected as well. Pretty nice. Don't ever tell me the odds. Yeah, odds. I don't think odds were in my favor. I was seeing a lot of cards, right? But yeah, works out. Works out nicely. I'm not gonna be. I don't expect to be behind next turn. I have boss anyway, so I'm just gonna grab the Ultra Ball. And let's go KO. And let's put all the damage on the Blaziken because now I can Hawlucha KO it. Alright, Luminous and Duskull. Pretty good prices for sure. So now my opponent still has Pidgeot. It doesn't threaten KO on anything that I have. We haven't seen their A-Spec. Their A-Spec could be max built. Oh no, we have seen Secret Box. So maybe they're playing Vitality Band. They could go Vitality Band, Boss KO, Fez. That is a way they could do it. They can't power up Blaziken and Monkey Dory to put my Dragapult in range. So that's very good. With the Monkey Dory, which I was dissing in the beginning, now I have access to extra damage on the bench to help me get knockouts on any basics that get benched, which is pretty nice. I also have double Monkey Dory if I really needed to with Professor Turo and the other Luminous Energy, so that could be a surprising move for sure. Not gonna be the game-winning move unless my opponent hits me for 200 with the Blaziken. Because then I could go like Adrenabrain, put the damage on the Blaziken, put in range, and then Turo, Luminous, put damage on a basic, Torchic probably, and then get 3 prizes that way. That could be the way we end up winning this game. We're gonna see an Ultra Ball. We already quick searched. Okay, it will be Fez. And the great thing is we don't need to win this turn. I wonder what the last card they kept was, because they discarded Puffin. They do have Artisan, I guess, to find a Torchic. So that's not too bad. And they go Lily, okay. So I can't win. And like, sure, they can power up Monkey Dory, but then that doesn't help them win. And they don't have a Dark Energy anyways. Okay. They bench the Torchic. Are they gonna hit me for 200 damage? That's the question. Can they even hit me for 200 damage? Where the energy goes to will be very telling. Okay, it does go to the Blaziken, so they might end up going for the attack. If they do, they lose, thanks to the Turo Luminous. I still win with Hawlucha, right? yeah, I can still win with Halucha. Let's just... Halucha, 1 on Torchic, 1 on Blaziken, and pause for game. Not bad. Not bad. I mean, so this is the sort of like issue with these sort of decks, is like they're good, but Blaziken is not a better partner for Pidgeot than Charizard, for example. Yeah, like sure, you get a bench damaging attack with a baby Blaziken, but it's so hard to pull off, right? You need 3 stage 2s plus your Pidgeot to go off. So at this point, I feel like you're better off playing Wellspring in Charizard to get the same sort of level of threat as opposed to playing Blaziken. Yeah, so it's a cool deck, but it's a balanced one. And right now, we're playing a super broken deck. All right, next match. Next match. Against Minky Mouse. Whoever that is. Minky Mouse. Righty, we do not want to go first. Okay, pretty solid start. We're gonna avoid benching Latias. We will try. There is merit to starting Latias instead of Drippy, because Latias is a wider range of decks, so your opponent doesn't know exactly what you're up against. My opponent does start Gen 6, so we know we're up against Goldengo. A pretty tough matchup for Dragapult in general, but we're gonna try our best. Exactly, Victor. That's who we're up against. The other mouse. All right, starting Puffin. Usually these decks are not playing Puffin, or like high counts of Puffin, so starting with Puffin is pretty good for them. I do think I'm gonna end up benching the Latias overall. Now I get the double Puffin, which is pretty nice. I priced the Duskull again. Unbelievable. But yeah, like really favoring your setup is very important here. So, and by that I mean like having energy attachments, having back-to-back Dragapult is super important. And my opponent immediately concedes, not even waiting for my Iono to be played. What? Why would you do that? I mean, I know Body is powerful, but it's not that powerful. Like, your deck should be built to withstand it, unless they were playing a weird version of Goldengo that was incredibly weak, or like their hand was really bad. But like, I wasn't threatening anything, right? It was still gonna like at least see your top deck for the next 2 turns. You're gonna have double Goldengo. You can draw extra cards. I'm gonna assume they disconnected. Yep, so much for Minky Mouse. We get an auto concession before my first turn has even started. When we get a super broken hand. And then we're up against a good player. Gem TCG. I think I know who that is. It's a mirror match too. And they get the Puffin and I don't. Okay, I mean, that's fine. We're gonna top deck Puffin. Yeah, it's fine. We're gonna top deck Puffin. PTCG Live devs, if you are hearing me, I really need your help. I would really like to top deck a Body Puffin. Please, pretty please. My opponent preemptively playing the item cards they have in their hand. Pretty smart of them. That Ultra Ball and discarding the other one. So the other cards are probably pretty valuable. But yeah. Unfortunate that we have... Like, if this was a Puffin instead of a Countercatcher, this hand would be pretty good. Pretty decent. Not pretty good. Pretty decent. Okay, my opponent goes for the Dusclops, not even a Dracloak. That tells us that they do have a supporter, probably. Why? Alright, on to the next game. This is exactly the Dragapult experience. One game you're flying, double puffin, attach, retreat, Lily into a fresh new hand. Then the next game you're going draw, pass, lose. That is the Dragapult experience. Alright. Okay. Same matchup, same person, so hopefully we get to give them a run for their money this time around. Hopefully. Hopefully we give them a run for money. Now we will go first. And that, kids, is why we don't play Dragapult, exactly. Alright. I mean, this is a good going first hand, I guess. Because I get to evolve first and I get 2 recon directives and I have the Neo Upper, so this is a good going hand first, I guess. And by good, I mean like it's meh. Sure, body you. So here's what I'm thinking. If this ends up in like a weird body stalemate, I kind of don't mind the Treepy taking. So like, here's what I'm thinking. I'd rather I get the first hit into the body so that if it ends up being like an awkward game where we both dead draw, my Larias is not in range of the Pult. The Dreepy, I will have the initiative, right? So that's good. But yeah, it's like, I just played against this person, right? The previous game, I started Body at Dead Hand going second. They went first and they got Puffin, Ultra Wall, Attachment. Now, the other way around, I don't get a Puffin and they get the Puffin plus the Body plus the Attachment. So it's frustrating when it happens because the early game is so important and it's purely the draws that are deciding what is happening in this match. Nothing else, right? So far. Okay? But let's see if we can recon directive into something good. No. 2 completely unplayable cards. As expected, I guess. Alright. So why is it important for my body to not get the first hit? I mean, I had the other body, I guess. But like, for counter catcher denial, if I can knock out their body before they knock out mine, then I'll be ahead in the prices, but they can't have like a counter catcher response. Yeah, so that's sort of the thing that I'm gunning for. They're having a much stronger start. They've played Dawn, they got Puffin, they have double recon, they have the Duskull, so things are not looking good for me for sure. They already have the Dragapult in hand. If they find Dusclops or another Dawn, they can just wipe my Dracloak if I can't evolve it, so. And like, it's not that I'm up against someone that is better than me. They're just drawing better than me. That's the only difference at this point in time. The only difference is that they've gotten better draws in back-to-back games. That is it. Nothing else is making a difference here. Alright. I do find a Lily. I need a Dragapult. Okay, I do find a Dragapult. That's nice. So I get to protect at least my energy, right? I know they have their own Dragapult, so slamming my Dragapult into their body doesn't make much sense. You know? I have a boss's orders for next turn, so that makes more sense. But I'm still under item log. I still didn't find a Duskull. I didn't find a backup Dracloak, so now I don't have any more reach into the deck because I had to evolve to protect my energy. So everything going against us. We're gonna try our best, but despite the game being 6-6, just by how developed my opponent's board is versus mine, I already know they're going to win this game 99% of the time. Unless they make like a huge mistake of not evolving, for example. But the aggressive Halucha means they're going to go ahead and go into the Dragapult right now. Yep, there's the Dragapult. best case scenario is they don't evolve the Duskull, so that way at least we're on even grounds with that regard, right? Do they have a boss? Yeah, they do have a boss, of course. So they even get the first hit into my Pult. And they wipe my Dreepy. Unreal, man. Unreal. Back-to-back games where I just get completely outclassed by draws. Nothing else. Nothing else. Unreal. Yeah, and this is exactly the Dragapult experience. This is why I don't enjoy playing Dragapult. It's like the early game is so frail. And I don't think there's any other way to like strengthen it. So like, if you don't have good luck in the early game with Dragapult, you're out of it. Yeah, you're just completely out of it. It's a great deck to make comebacks, sure, but when your opponent's handpicking their cards, it's impossible to win. Especially a mirror match. Team G Ward, thanks so much for the follow. Alright. Pretty tilting, honestly. I am tilted. Like back-to-back games where you watch your opponent play and do exactly whatever they want versus your completely mediocre starts. And I mean, no comment. Philippe Devour, thanks so much for the follow. And that's game. Third game that I lose in a row where I don't get to play with Dragapult. And this is exactly why I like how you need a certain level of luck that I do not have to be good with this deck. I just don't. That is like I just don't. I do feel like in the variant spell that exists in the Pokemon trading card game, like people who continually do well are probably on the right side. I'm not even on the average. I'm below average, and these games show it. Like back to back games, right? Back to back games. I don't think I could have made any other decisions in the games that I've just played to increase my chances of winning. Not at all. And this is exactly what happened the last time I played Dragapult on the live stream. So I think we're just not going to play Dragapult anymore in our live stream because it's pointless. Like, I'm not showcasing the deck. I think we had one good game so far, maybe two. I think I had one good game and then one, and that was the game where I played horribly as well. So on top of that. Okay. As long as I get to play more than 3 turns of this game, this will be the last game of the stream. I mean, I have a hand, I guess. I'll protect my Dreepy. We're up against Mega Absol Box, which is a pretty bad matchup for this deck. They also go second, so I can't really deny the trolley, right? Buy a lottery ticket. I mean, the last 25 years of my Pokemon career have been this level of frustrating, so... Okay, we get Iono. Great, so seems like we will be able to play this game at least. Have I chosen my deck for Merida? No, Jonathan, definitely not. I rarely ever choose so early. Like right now, since there's still time, I'm with the live streams, I'm like just trying to play more games, get more in form, if you will. I can tell you I am not playing Dragapult or Ceruledge. Those two are definitely off the table. But I have not committed to a deck for Merida, no. Definitely not. How about you? Have you? Okay, so who needs Trolley when you just find all your basics raw? No TM thingy is pretty good, and I have the jamming tower, which is also pretty good. This evolution is a mistake though. I should have evolved the other Dreepy to attach the new upper. So that was a mistake that I will now have to essentially fix with these. And that's okay, but I definitely should not be doing this. Elias is priced, so probably not gonna be item denying anytime soon. So I know my opponent's hand wasn't great after the Iono. I know they don't have energy. So I don't think I should Iono them this turn. But on the other hand, I would love to get closer to Dustclops, more energy, and just have a more impactful turn. I'm gonna do it, but I'm not super happy about it. Yeah? I do find the Dustclops, which is nice. It could lead me to the Bodyu, but then who gets the damage? And if they go Monkey Dory, that's pretty bad. So I'm just gonna play it cool. You can have your items for now. That's fine. Speaking of early game consistency, Charizard with Dawn is insane. Yes. Charizard with Dawn felt insane when I played it. I should probably play it again. I should definitely play it again. What's crazy is Puldar has so much draw that on paper you shouldn't miss that much. I know, right? But like, you have so much draw once you have your like Dracloaks looking into your deck, but finding Puffin to get into double Dracloak feels like the most impossible task for this deck, honestly. Alright, they found Cassiopeia, so that's a pretty new thing in this. You can only use it as the last card in your hand, and that feels like pretty anti-synergetic. Well, I guess it's okay with Kangaskhan, because you can go like... Sure, you can go like use Cassiopeia, get 2 cards and then draw 2, but overall that doesn't seem very impressive. Okay, so we should be able to go on the offensive ourselves here. Extra energy is always very, very welcome. I could save it for Monkey Dory, which I don't hate. Because like I don't need energy right now. I just need Dragapult. I think I'm gonna Lily. I also don't like Countercatcher would be nice, but it's not necessary. Okay, so no Dragapult and no Countercatcher in sight. So a little bit awkward situation. Sure, let's keep the energy. All right, please give me a Dragapult or an Ultra Wall. Okay, there's a Dragapult. No Countercatcher means I only get a 2-price turn, not the end of the world. Or I could Dusknoir the Petch and get a 2-price knockout that way, or I could just Countercatcher and bring up the Petrant and get a 3-price turn that way. I like both, but I think I'd rather conserve the Dusknoir because it's less that I need in order to eventually maybe 1KO Omega, right? So let's go 5 damage counters there. We have to promote our Pult, which is pretty nice. Now, I'm going to promote this Dracloak and I'm going to attach a basic energy to it. Because these decks do tend to play 1 Enhanced Hammer, so this makes me pretty immune to the Enhanced Hammer stopping me, right? From attacking. And I like that. And then we get a 3-price turn, pretty good. My opponent plays 2 Ionos total, usually. They're already down 1. And then we get a knockout on the Petch, knockout on the Monkey, which is also very important. We leave no damage on their side of the board, which is also important. I mean, it's most important after they TM Energize, but so far so good. And then we can reestablish and possibly threaten game eventually. All we need to do is like focus fire one of the 2 megas that are in play. And that doesn't seem too difficult if I don't get Ionoed at some point. You've been dealing with so much Charizard decks in your locals. Yeah, Momo, I've seen your stories where you go like, yep, played Tango, played against 4 Charizards. Yep, played under local, played against 3 Charizards. I've seen you've played a lot against Charizard. Dominator, it fizzled so hard for you at Pittsburgh that you dropped before round 3. My goodness. Yeah, I love and they should I hate that I love Dragapult as a Pokemon and I love Dusknoir as a Pokemon, but the deck just does not work for me like it does for other people. It feels, and I mean that's probably an exaggeration, but okay. The cornerstone on the bench opens up the possibility for me to win next turn if I find Halucha and Dusclops. I can heal that, but that doesn't get me, that doesn't help me, because then I can't boss. Okay, so we can't get both cards off of one Dracloak, but this is still pretty good, right? And establishing the Dusclops anyways is still pretty solid. Okay, I generally have everything I could possibly want in my hand at this point in time. Let's go ahead and establish the Dusclops here. And sure, let's send an energy. I guess Monkey Dory worked as well, because I had the Luminous. So Monkey Dory damage here, Dusclops. So Monkey Dory, Luminous plus Dusclops, or this. Okay. Yeah. Why bench that cornerstone? That doesn't make sense to me. Lucha was there. Now it's might be closer to the bottom, so that was probably not ideal. We'll bench the Dreepy, sure, and then we'll just take the knockout. And we will go 1-1-4. Because that way, if I can just go... Oh, I actually, no, yeah. This way I go Dusclops, Pop, KO, Megapsol, right? So they really need to Iono this turn. And Iono gets me closer to Holucha. It doesn't get me closer to boss though. My boss orders will be at the bottom of the deck. So that's a bad part. Sí, como 8 Chari, justo. Sí, pues ya juega Dusknoir. Juega Dragapult Dusknoir y ya acribíalos. You got 0-5 with Pultnor in a League Cup. It doesn't work for me as well. Yeah, I mean, it's like the deck is so good on paper, but when I try to just use it myself, it just does not cooperate pretty much. I mean, it's cooperating right now, right? The jamming tower is denying my opponent. Like having that streak of like back-to-back-to-back games. Yeah, I feel like it cooperates a lot less than it should be, or than it should usually on average. For me at least, and it's completely subjective. I'm talking like out of my experience, and there's no statistical justification for it. It's just what's been my experience with the deck. Right, Precious Trolley for 1 monkey, I'm guessing. The last monkey. I think my opponent's like slowing down, just trying to figure out what to do. But the curtains are pretty much closed at this point. They played Arven, right? So now boss wins me the game. I have the Dragapult. They have no way to knock out my active, so it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what they do. The game is over. You replace your Cramorant for a Psyduck? Yeah, I mean, sure. That should help. Stop their Dusknoirs. Okay, my opponent decides they're just gonna hand me the game. And just not ask me to have anything. So then, what are we doing? Countergatcher, I mean, sure. You're gonna ask me to have an energy? No? Okay. Not even gonna do that. Have you played no Psyduck plus Battle Cage decks today? I have played Battle Cage, but not Psyduck plus Battle Cage. And there we go. Yeah, Dragapult Dusknoir, pretty good deck for sure. It's pretty fantastic. It's only 130, so let's play one more game. Let's suffer through one more game. So yeah, Battle Cage, it feels like it's weirdly played in weird decks with no purpose, right? And there was this one match where they played it early and I could just never counter it. But yeah. I mean, like I said, don't get me wrong, this is me purely being on tilt, hating on Dragapult Dusknoir because I had those 3 back-to-back-to-back games, 2 against the same person, where we are playing the same deck, and anyways, on to the next match. 16-20 ranking, so if we win this one, we're gonna climb probably to where we started the stream, after playing 2 mediocre decks. And if we lose, we won't lose too many points. Alright, Tails, my opponent will decide who goes first. I should have called it a day. I should have called it a day. Or you know what? I should be playing 2 Dawn instead of 2 Hilda. That's what I should be doing. Yeah, one more game. My most toxic phase at 2 AM on PTG Live. Thankfully, you will never catch me playing PTG Live at 2 AM. I was like, meh. Like, my goal is to stream around 3 hours, right? I start a little bit later. It's only 1:30. I was like, sure, one more game. Yeah, what's the harm in one more game? This is the harm. The emotional damage that one more game does to you when you're playing Dragapult Dusknoir and you dead draw 4 out of the last 5 games. That is the emotional damage. That is the reason you shouldn't go one more game. I mean, sure, Nespel. I honestly think I have to Nespel for either, I mean, it's either Fez or Drippy. If I go Drippy, it probably just gets KO'd and I'm in the same exact spot. So I'm gonna go for the Fez. I don't like it, but it is what it is. Okay, I mean, we top deck Nespel, so the PTG Live wants me to play one more turn, perhaps. But we're rooting for my opponent to knock out my Halucha. That's what we are rooting for. This is, if okay. This is gonna be the most epic comeback in the history of comebacks, alright? He committed to the Dawn, committed to the Stadium, so now we have the next 4 cards to help us, right? Now we have the next 4 cards to help us, which is pretty nice. The problem is my opponent will be fully set up. They committed to the Stadium and they're playing it down, so that probably signifies they're gonna quick search for a Jet Energy for the Fan Rotom after they have their Pidgeot set up. They grabbed Charmeleon, so it could be a grab just for later. They could still go like super explosive, try to KO the Fez with a full. They don't need a full bench, they need 2 more basics and Prime Catcher. If that's what they're playing. Hopefully it isn't, but we'll see. We will see. I'm pretty sure this is a waste of time for everyone, but we're gonna try, alright? You have my promise, I'm gonna try my best to win this game. Close Fabric, thanks so much for the follow. 15 away from 7,000 followers on Twitch. That's pretty cool. It does feel like I'm starting from scratch, obviously. It's been years, like at least 5 years since I was consistent with streaming, but why not? Why not make the comeback? Alright, we see Puffin for Duskull and Charmander. So Duskull can also artificially increase my opponent's damage output. And I think the correct play for my opponent is to just not attack, right? Not go for the KO. My goodness. Yeah. Okay, seems like they're gonna commit to the KO. Which... Bro. Okay, so... The Nesmol top deck was just adding to my misery. That was only their second turn. That is insane. Speaking of consistent decks, that is insane. Okay, so obviously they're gonna win, right? And that was also pretty good. It was also very resource intensive. I definitely wouldn't have minded going into Charmeleon, going Rare Candy Dusknoir, and then threatening game next turn by going Dusknoir, Hawlucha, Charizard, KO Fez, without activating Fezandipity, right? Because you knew my hand was bad, you knew my hand was dead, you knew I didn't have a single other basic at all. So, I mean, I was never winning that game. I do feel like in my opponent's shoes, with the actions that I took, I would have played it a little bit differently. I would have waited one more turn, right? Because you weren't winning that turn anyways. So I would have waited one more turn, or... I mean, they had the Prime Catcher in hand, which is nuts. They could have gone triple Rare Candy to the Dusknoir as well. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe they didn't have enough resources, right? But anyways, I'm going to leave it here before I tilt anymore. I will upload some of the good games that we did play. Very few today, unfortunately. We'll play more aggressive decks tomorrow. Probably Raging Bolt and Joltik Box tomorrow to make sure that we need very little to just start applying pressure, and we don't want to... we're going to wait for our opponents to respond to us instead of us trying to wiggle around whatever our opponents are doing. So, thanks so much to everyone who tuned in. Protísimo, no, estoy jugando simplemente variedad de decks para probarlos, para mostrar, para generar contenido. Ya después, más cercano a Mérida, me enfocaré en un solo deck. Muchas gracias a todos. Thanks so much everyone who tuned in. I really appreciate it. I will see you everyone tomorrow in the Spanish stream, or because I didn't stream on Monday, I will definitely try to stream on Friday another English stream. Thank you so much, and until next time.